I'm Evan Sandberg, your ASB Vice President. Today is Wednesday, February 3rd.
Hi, I'm Cal. Last minute reminder that Thursday and Friday is supplies/material pickup days and yearbook pictures. Please see the Marshall website for times by grade level and last names. Also, first semester ends Friday, February 5th. That means that we have a half day Thursday and Friday so that teachers can work on our grades. We will start fresh on Monday, February 8th. Let's work hard second semester and finish the school year strong.
Hi, my name is Addison Minks, and I'm the historian of ASB. Hey, if you missed the Bridge Music Project this last fall, or if you'd like to be a part of the program again, you can apply on the Marshall website. Bridge Music Project will run through March 17th through May 13th, but hurry, space is limited.
If you are still interested in going to Greece with Mr. Philippi, deadline to register is Friday, February 5th. Go to the Marshall website and go to the Greece trip tab.
Celebrating birthdays this week are Ashley Bodner, Tony Morales, Brianna Morrison, Ryan Nieto, Anthony Powell, and Ramdeep Singh.
Good morning, Thurgood Marshall Mustangs. I am Ariel Cornwall, a former Mustang, and welcome to the Cornwall Connection. Here at the Cornwall Connection, we strive for an educational community that is inclusive, diverse, and equitable. To contribute to that, we'll be highlighting influential people and events from various cultures and backgrounds. We will also be discussing racial topics to encourage conversations in the classroom and in our daily lives. The Cornwall Connection's sole purpose is to change and advance the culture of our school. The only way that this can be done is by acknowledging our differences, embracing those differences, and using those differences to transform the way that we think, teach, learn, and act. We as a community cannot simply wish to be better. Each and every one of us must make the active decision each day to build a healthier and stronger community.
This week is Black Lives Matter Week. The Black Lives Matter at School movement first started in Seattle during the fall of 2016, when thousands of educators in Seattle came to school on October 19th wearing shirts that said, "Black Lives Matter, we stand together." Black Lives Matter at School is a national coalition organization for racial justice in education. We encourage all educators, students, parents, unions, and community organizations to join our annual Week of Action during the first week of February each year.
As Evan mentioned earlier, the Olympia School District proclaimed the first week of February as Black Lives Matter Week. But what does this really mean and look like? What is Black Lives Matter all about? How has this organization been misinterpreted? In this week's episode of Cornwall Connection, we want to break down misconceptions about the organization and movement of Black Lives Matter. We will share resources for students, staff, and our Thurgood Marshall community to educate ourselves about systemic racism, understand the types of oppression that Black people face that are different from white people, and the actionable steps that we can all take to create a better future today.
So let's start with what is the Black Lives Matter movement and how did it begin? In July 2013, the BLM movement began with the usage of the hashtag Black Lives Matter on social media after George Zimmerman was judged not guilty in the fatal shooting and death of African-American teen Trayvon Martin, even though all accounts proved that Zimmerman did indeed shoot Trayvon. Does this sound familiar?
Although Trayvon's murder wasn't the first or last time this would happen in America, the public outcry over the complete lack of justice sparked a revival of the civil rights movement. In new ways, many organizations rose up in the wake of Trayvon's murder, like BYP 100, the Dream Defenders, the Million Hoodies Movement for Justice, and Alicia Garza, Opal Tomati, and Patrice Coulors created hashtag Black Lives Matter.
The project is now a member-led global network of more than 40 chapters. Their members organize and build power to intervene in violence inflicted on Black communities by the state and vigilantes.
Black Lives Matter is an ideological and political intervention in a world where Black lives are systemically and intentionally targeted for demise. It is an affirmation of Black folks' humanity, our contribution to this society, and our resilience in the face of deadly oppression.
The 13 guiding principles of Black Lives Matter are
Restorative justice,
Empathy,
loving engagement,
diversity,
globalism,
Gender affirming.
trans affirming,
queer affirming,
collective value,
Generational.
Black families,
Black privileges,
Black woman,
Unapologetically Black. So what is Black Lives Matter doing to take action? Local branches coordinate public marches, protests, and sit-ins all over our nation and the world. They raise awareness about these issues through social media. While some media outlets show Black Lives Matter protests as violent and destructive, the reality is that Black Lives Matter strives for a nonviolent resistance. They won Sweden's Olof Palme Human Rights Prize for 2020 as a movement that promotes peaceful civil disobedience against police brutality and racial violence across the globe. Plus, Black Lives Matter was even nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize this year. A Norwegian lawmaker wrote that we recognize that Black Lives Matter sends a powerful message that peace is founded on equality, solidarity, and human rights.
BLM also works closely with lawmakers and attorneys to support families who have lost someone due to racial profiling, police brutality, or racially motivated violence against Black people with financial support, legal support, and mental health resources.
Additionally, BLM encourages and raises awareness around Black foreign-in support for Black families. For example, BLM started other hashtags like Black Love Letters, where parents write love letters to their children to promote love, connection, and beauty during a global pandemic. This movement was also to raise awareness and funding for the USPS government mailing system by buying stamps and physically mailing love letters to their children.
BLM's most recent hashtag campaign reminds us that we are hashtag so much more. Co-founder Patrice Cullors writes, "Given the traumas of the last year, it is important to call out that our experience is about more than the deaths we protest and the pain we hope to heal. Black life is so much more than that. We are not only triumphant and resilient, we deserve to be celebrated and valued. Our minds, our bodies, and our spirits are worthy of a real investment. Black life is worth so much more than 1 month of recognition."
So when people say Black lives need to matter, we are not saying that we are the only lives that matter, but there are evidence all over our nation that Black lives are treated differently and that our histories often leave out our contributions when we should all have equal access to justice, peace, safety, and representation.
Did you know that Black Lives Matter Week of Action began right here in Washington State? Cassandra Dillard from Teaching Tolerance shares, on a September morning at John Muir Elementary School in Seattle, a group of Black men stood at the entrance high-fiving students. Some of the men beat ancestral drums with wide smiles on their faces. Others wore Afrocentric clothing. They praised each child who approached the steps of the school. The event was organized to uplift Black youth in the community, and the idea sparked a flame that grew into a wildfire of action around the nation.
If you want to learn more about the Black Lives Matter movement, you can follow them on almost all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, or at blacklivesmatter.com. There are also local Washington State chapters of BLM through the Washington Black Lives Matter Alliance at blmalliancewa.org.
While this week and month are a kickoff for many discussions around race, racism, and racial justice, it will not be the end of these discussions. The Cornwall Connection is committed to sharing and advancing these stories of many people, places, and cultures that have been historically left out of the conversation for far too long. If you are interested in joining our growing news crew, contact Ms. White at cwhite@osd.wednet.edu.
Finally, we would like to leave you with some information on our first Black woman Vice President, Kamala Harris.
Our first spotlight guest will be Kamala Harris. Sadly, she will not be coming on the show, but here are some fun facts about her. Her name means lotus in Sanskrit and is also another name for Lakshmi, a Hindu deity. She also loves to cook and has shared recipes and loves Sunday dinners on social media. She has also cooked with Senator Mark Warner and actress Mindy Kaling in online videos. She is the first Black and Southeastern Asian Vice President in the history of the U.S.
Harris was born in Oakland, California in 1964. Both her mom and dad immigrated from India and Jamaica respectively to attend UC Berkeley and become U.S. citizens. Harris's mom got her doctorate in biology and her work on the progesterone receptor advanced breast cancer treatment. Harris's father became a professor emeritus of economics at Stanford University.
Harris' parents divorced when Harris was 7. Harris still remembers visiting her dad in Palo Alto and not being allowed to play with other white kids on her street due to segregation and racism of that time. She also remembers living with her mom in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, where she attended a French-speaking primary school.
After high school, Harris attended Howard University, a historically black college or HBCU. During college, Harris interned as a mailroom clerk for a California senator, led the debate team, chaired the Economic Society, and joined a sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha. Harris graduated and went on to UC Hastings College of Law and served as president of its Black Law Students Association.
In 2011, she became the first Black and Southeast Asian woman to serve as Attorney General in the state of California. She served as Attorney General from 2011 to 2017.
From here, Kamala Harris ran for a U.S. Senate seat in California and won in 2017 and continued to be senator until 2021, where she ran for Vice President of the United States alongside Joe Biden and won.
Congratulations, Vice President Kamala Harris, for paving the way for equality and equity for not just women, but women of color and first-generation immigrant families.
If you want to learn more about Vice President Kamala Harris, check out her books, The Truth We Hold, Young Readers Edition, Superheroes Are Everywhere, and if you want to dive deep into criminal law, check out her book, Smart on Crime, A Career Prosecutor's Plan to Make Us Safe.